and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Daniel!
Yes.
This is quite a shocking follow-up story that we're going to be doing, and that has to deal with Nancy. See, Nancy...
Which part's shocking? That Nancy's being hypocritical, TYT was being hypocritical, or Jimmy Dore was right? Which part is shocking?
I guess a shocking reminder, then.
I retain my question.
Well, here's the thing. On yesterday's show with my colleague Jerry Vassilatos, we were talking about how Nancy wants a strong GOP. Now here's TYT once again doing their act, being shocked and chagrined that the Democrats are doing this and that Nancy is once again doing this thing. But remember, if we wind back the clocks to 2021, where forced to vote was being discussed, what were we told by Majority Report, TYT, and everyone else who was carrying water for the Justice Democrats and progressives? No, we can't tell the progressives not to vote for Nancy. We got to keep our powder dry. The Democrats will follow through. They'll definitely do it. Here, let's play this short clip.
Headlines from 2017. The Cut had this headline: Pelosi, Democrats shouldn't focus on abortion access. Washington Post.
Winner.
Democratic candidates should not, Pelosi, Democratic candidates should not be forced to toe the party line on abortion. I'm gonna read you one last one, but there's dozens of these. Pelosi, of course, Dems can be against abortion. No, she has not been a champion of abortion access. She's been the exact opposite. As recently as 2017, telling everybody it's okay, nobody cares about abortion. And in fact, she, in some of her previous comments, said it's hurting the party to focus on abortion. And she opens with welcome arms abortion opponents, including right now, today, she's campaigning for Henry Cuellar, who is an abortion opponent. And by the way, voted to defund Planned Parenthood. She's trying to get him reelected so he can defund Planned Parenthood. Those are facts, and you could all look it up. But in Washington, they say she is the true champion of women's rights and fighting for abortion access. I mean, it's as close to a bald-faced lie as you can get. Now, to Schumer, Anna, look, we beat up on Schumer all the time. In fact, in this case, he deserves even more blame. So Pelosi is rhetorically horrific, okay, just like literally saying, I would like to help the Republicans. But Schumer's the one actually helping them with his actions. He's not even gonna bring up the filibuster for a vote again. So the voting on abortion right now in the Senate is a joke. They know they don't have 60 votes. They won't even vote on the thing that could get them to 60 votes. I'm sorry, they can get them a win.
We heard enough from Cenk. So here's the issue, all right? And I brought this up on Chicago Corner, our other YouTube channel that we have here. Kira, Jerry, Edward, and myself, we were discussing about really what could be the potential fallout if Roe v. Wade is overturned. And Illinois is one of the few states that actually has, women's protections for abortion rights. But the thing is, Illinois state Democrats, call out the Washington Democrats right now in DC. Call them out. Tell them to codify Roe v. Wade. Challenge them. Fight for them. But they're not going to do it. And see, the thing is, this is the same Young Turks that in 2021 was vocal and speaking down and smearing anyone that was fighting for forced to vote. Daniel and I were with forced to vote. So many other independent media networks were with forced to vote. And this is the same Cenk Uygur that had absolute confidence that if we did not withhold our vote, especially if the progressives did not withhold their vote to Nancy, that McCarthy was going to come in and Republicans were going to take over. I found some little tweets that are wonderful gems. Just a quick reminder that, remember, all this outrage that you're seeing Cenk and Anna and TYT and Majority Report, all this outrage you're seeing towards the GOP, it's been fake.
Before we even get into those, let me say a couple things too. This goes to all the things that we've been saying about the Democratic Party. Sure, TYT may have an angle on this, but let's be real, no one in DC really cares about TYT.
No.
They just if they can, try and get a few more people sheep-herded towards the party. Anyway, we know all that stuff. I remember in 2016, and you guys remember, for those of you that have, been around that far back, or let's actually say 2020, because the same things happened again. I had a number of people in, you guys, I try to keep in touch as much as I can handle with Blue No Matter Who Democrats. Just to always check out what they're thinking, just so we know what to do on the show. And I remember very distinctly when I would bring up nuances, just general nuances about who's running. Hey, maybe Joe Biden's not a great leader after all. One thing that was brought up to me quite a bit was, especially in 2020, Daniel, you're going to be responsible solely for abortions becoming illegal if Biden doesn't get elected. We're going to have you specifically be the one that's held responsible for that take. Now, didn't matter my stance on the issue. Didn't matter to them at all. Their point was what they had been told, that if you vote Democrat, abortion will be safe. Now, here you have it. It's not safe. And what are the Democrats doing about it? Retreat, retreat, retreat. Don't fight about it. It's not that big a deal, even though how many times have you guys received emails from the Democratic Party saying that they need money to fight abortion? Just like everything else that we cover, the Democrats don't stand for anything, and people somehow have this confusion that there is a lesser evil. I remember, Kit, I saw your on Case Studies show, someone was talking about, there's the lesser and greater evil.
Yes.
People that say that right now don't know what they're talking about. They're literally just repeating mainstream media talking points. They're literally just repeating DNC talking points. Because at the end of the day, what have we said about this? Republicans will stab you in the face. Democrats will stab you in the back. What is happening here? The second that they lose something like this, that has been a trench warfare issue that the majority of the country agrees with for decades, they retreat. They say it's not worth it. We're not going to do anything about it. We're not even going to fight. I can't tell the difference between an abusive father and a pill-pushing, manipulative mother. One will screw your body up. One will screw your mind up. And both together will destroy your soul.
Oh, wow.
So when people say there's a lesser evil out there, I don't know what they're talking about. Whatever makes them feel safe at night, I suppose.
Hey, let's have democracy in our chat right now, all right? Because I think it's very on point. Type 1, if you agree with Daniel's analogy, was how the Democratic and Republican Party was just presented right now. Type 2, if you think, no, lesser of two evils. There's always a lesser of two evils, because I think Daniel just hit it on the nose. Speaking on the nose, we're going to do a little time travel. Let's pull up this little tweet right here. For all the force to vote people who absolutely refuse to have any strategy, who is a progressive who is going to run against Pelosi in the caucus? If you don't have one, what is the next step? Who do you want instead of Pelosi? How do you get to your goal? No plan means no victory. Which again, okay, because we're going to pull up the next tweet here, because I just want to be very clear. I want to explain something here. There was no point in time where McCarthy could become Speaker of the House. That was an outright lie. I want to pull up this next tweet right here. Cenk, who said there's nothing wrong with force to vote. What is wrong with is timing. Oh, keep our powder dry. Let's do force the vote 10 more times at the right time, like force the vote for 15.
I'm really glad he kept his powder dry, because now he could fight back on the abortion issue. Oh, wait.
No,
never mind.
they're not doing it. Nope. Again, right time is not the excuse to wait for the in case.
You guys realize keeping powder dry? You know the perfect analogy for all that is?
What is it?
What is it? The fire in Game of Thrones, the fire that's underneath the city.
A wildfire.
Yeah, it's like they keep installing this gunpowder into the Capitol. Yeah. There's no bad thing that could come from storing this here in large quantities. I can't figure out the issue.
What could go wrong? He goes on to say, right time is not an excuse to wait in this case. The right time was before this vote. I'll be aggressive, but you have to do it strategically. I like being aggressive, but you have to do it strategically. Like was forced to vote for 15? Because there's another little tweet that I like to bring up.
Really quick, can I read a tweet?
Go ahead.
Not tweet, a chat from I Hate Work 420. Welcome.
Welcome.
Democrats are the more effective evil, not the lesser evil. I think there's a point to that.
Yeah.
Because Democrats have convinced people that they're evil, but not as evil as their opponent. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, that makes sense. Yeah. I agree with that.
No. I agree with that. There you go. It's more, I agree with that. There you go. All right, we got another little tweet from just reminding everyone again that all this fake outrage that you're seeing on TYT is a joke. For all the people using or pushing hashtag fraud squad, because it's true. Do you understand that if all 10 Justice Democrats had voted president, GOP leader would be speaker right now? That's a lie. That's false information. What would you have accomplished?
By the way, where is Snopes' fact checker for this tweet?
Wondering. What would you have what would that have accomplished? Easy being destructive. You have to come up with a plan for being constructive. All right, well, here's my plan, right? Because I brought this up in the Chicago Corner, because I want to pull up this video from Jimmy Dore, right? Because, again, it's a little time travel. Number one, Illinois State Democrats. You could challenge the Democrats in Washington, D.C. by saying codify Roe v. Wade. Now, here's how you know the Illinois State Democrats won't do anything. Because the thing is, in a lot of conservative states, it is jail time for a woman to get abortion, right? They'll serve time behind bars. Illinois State Democrats, if you're not going to have the backbone to tell the Democrats in Washington, D.C. to codify Roe v. Wade, here's another thing, Illinois State Democrats. Governor Pritzker, ensure that women who come here to get abortions, who need to get protection from all sorts of assaults, again, I can't say the words because of YouTube, make sure they don't get extradited back in their state. Give them true protections. Because that is a crime.
I'm not sure on that one. Doesn't this go into the Commerce Clause of the Constitution that a state can impose restriction unless you bring the abortion back with you? I suppose that might be an issue into that state, but I don't see what the issue would be.
Yeah, well, because knowing how, again, we've been seeing a lot of the conservative states, especially extreme right wing.
But I'm saying that I don't think that that's even possible under the Constitution, in the way that you're describing it.
All right, well, fair enough. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, protection.
What they will do is what Mitch McConnell said. He's like, now we want to make abortion federally illegal. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to do the state by state BS.
Yeah,
they already have that states established.
Thank you for that correction, then. All right, there we go. All right, I want to pull up this next video then right here from Jimmy Dore, because again, look, this is the same Cenk Uygur that was telling that Jimmy Dore was wrong, Justin Jackson was wrong, Dr. Cornel West, Breonna Joy Gray, and so many others were forced to vote because, oh no, we have to have Nancy as Speaker of the House. Let's play it.
Important moment, this hashtag forced to vote, and this could actually happen, and we could actually get Medicare for all. I've been asked by people not to do this. Now, the reason why I'm doing this with Cenk Uygur is to combat these bad ideas because they're spreading like wildfire. And they come from a think tank that's committed to stopping Medicare for all, and then it gets repeated. And Cenk's repeating it. This isn't about Cenk Uygur. This is not about Jimmy Dore. This is about a great idea. As Dylan Ratigan said, the reason why people are upset is because this is a great idea. So let's get on board behind the idea, Cenk. You can take ownership of it. I'll let it go. And I'll forget all that stupid shit you've been doing. And I'm asking you to get on board with hashtag force the vote. I'll forgive you of all your sins. All of them. If we get Medicare for people, let's do it. Join the fight, Cenk. Hashtag force the vote. Join the fight, Cenk. Your audience wants you to do it. People who are sick want you to do it. I want you to do it. People who are dying, 15 million people who just lost their health care want you to do it. Not one of those people wants you to wait, Cenk. Get on board, Cenk, now. I'm welcoming you with open arms. I'll give you that. I'll give it to you. You take it. I want to take a few days off. I've been getting my teeth kicked in for 2 straight fucking weeks by the entire universe because I'm advocating for health care and people like you are undermining it for whatever reason. Now stop it. And get on board. And if you do, I'll forgive you. Get on board. This is bigger than us, Cenk. It's bigger than you. It's much bigger than you and your ego. It's much bigger than me. This is about a great idea and getting sick people health care in the middle of a pandemic. Cut it out. Get on board. I'm welcoming you with open arms.
So I'm going to say one thing. Jimmy made one mistake in that video that I saw.
What was the mistake?
He said that this is bigger than Cenk's ego.
Yeah, see, Cenk has just a giant ego. Because remember, this is the same Cenk Uygur that said Nancy must be Speaker of the House. Keep her powder dry.
Cenk has every step of what has just happened, or what's about to happen with the Supreme Court ruling that's about to come out. Cenk has enabled, supported, and pushed every individual component on the Democratic side that allowed this to happen and defended them and offered a rear guard for them as they're making all these moves. I want to also, it's slightly connected. I thought it was a fair comment that I want to kind of disagree with anyway. Where is it? It was, and this goes to the point of what I mean by lesser evil, or that doesn't really exist. Someone had put a comment a little bit ago. If I can't find it, I can sort of remember it. That no, it's not that one. Someone had made the point earlier that that they can see why LGBT people think that the Democrats are the lesser evil, but the second that LGBT stops bringing in money for re-elections, they're not going to care, and then the people that you thought were your bulwark are going to let all of that be run over. So it's like when Cenk is making these points with the Democrats, and Jimmy's making the point right there. He's like, look, Cenk, you can run it if you want. I think that was also a bad call on Jimmy's part, because literally every single organization that Cenk Uygur has run, with the exception of TYT, which had to get bought out, I assume, because they weren't making enough money, failed. Every single thing that Cenk Uygur has done has failed. He failed at Wolfpack. He literally abandoned us. Like, we had succeeded in the state. That thing is now rescinded because TYT just abandoned it. They still take money for it. They still, for a while, were texting me to get money into that, even though they abandoned the entire project. They wanted $2 million for Four Horsemen Journalism, who they immediately fired after getting all that money. They've given away so much. Every single channel that they've operated, besides the main channel, they've basically shut down. And now they have like that one channel where they're like doing Karen reports 24/7. But what is TYT even at this point? I don't understand why it would even be offered to Cenk. Because what will Cenk do? What can you guarantee happens if Cenk takes over a movement? He'll make money off of it, like the Democratic Party, and then once it's no longer profitable, it's cast aside, like every other organization he's ever started.
You know, I think it's also important to bring up that I know a lot of people are burnt out by electoral politics. We're not going to play the final video, but if you do, you can check it out in the show notes. It's basically Mehdi Hassan interviewing a House Democrat who's going to bat and giving a word salad answer for why Nancy Pelosi and other key Democratic leaders are supporting pro-life Democrats that are running right now. So the thing is,
they've already moved on.
Yeah,
the issue that they've cared about so deeply that they needed your donation from to ensure that it never changed. The second but after a leak comes out, not even the full document.
Yeah,
like can you imagine?
It's a leak. It's not even. Can you imagine
the Democrats' response if it turns out that that was just the minority whatever it's called, the one that, not the official one that everyone binds to, but the other one that everyone says, well, here's the other opinion for it, whatever that's called. What if you can imagine that? Like, they get Roe v. Wade back, and they're like, yes, we did that. We did that.
No.
And then Cenk's like, this is why we got to keep supporting the Democrats. They're way better than the Republicans.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. All right. As a final note, too.
One more thing, and just because this is an update for what I said.
Yeah.
This is a great response. This is from Chambers. LGBT gains have all been through the courts. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Democratic inaction on judicial appointments has been the betrayal. That's a great point. That someone was saying that you feel like there's a lesser evil with the Democrats. They ignored you while you were walking up the court system to make the ruling possible to begin with. And then, once it was established, now they've put in and allowed all the people that are currently in the Supreme Court. Obama was like, oh man, I'm a president. I can't stop the GOP from the Democrats let this all happen. And just because they weren't the ones that pulled the trigger doesn't mean they're not the ones that supplied the gun, the ammunition, and called the person to the location.
Right. And another final note, too. Look, at this point, voting for the Democratic Party, it's voting for an abusive partner. You don't do it and you don't waste your time on it. I'm not going to tell our audience how to vote or how to think. If you can support independent candidates, okay, go ahead if you want to go out and vote. I would recommend, if you live in a ballot initiative state, please support good ballot initiatives and stand against bad ballot initiatives. Otherwise, Democrats What do you really have to offer us, except for the fact that, oh, and see that city right behind us? They're doing a fundraiser right now, $350,000 for a plate. And also potentially Chicago could be the home for the next 2024 Democratic convention. Just to remind everyone, they're going to spend a lot of money on this. Chicago is not broke. If you ever want to read a book about why Chicago is not broke, this is it right here. We have the TIF funds, and this city's screwing us over. But don't worry, the TIF funds will be used for the Democratic convention, though, and not for our public schools. Again, written by Tom Tresher. Check it out.